Welcome to the June 15th, 2014 edition. It's Father's Day of Whatever with Don and Justin. E3's over, but, we'll talk about...
Hey, what up?
I'm a father. Don is not. But, we're going to talk about video games, so...
Yeah, what up? 'Cause this is United States or whatever. And this is my United States or whatever.
Yes. Welcome
Hello.
to another edition of Whatever with Don and Justin. So what did you learn tonight, Justin?
It's like it's already time to end the show.
Yeah, my player just decided to up and shit itself on me. But that's cool, because we'll just keep going.
You almost got me.
Oh, man. So, what did you learn tonight, Justin? No. So, tonight we are in our post-E3 phase. It's been a short week. We're back after, 4 or 5 days now?
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, so tonight, after E3 ended, the beta for Battlefield Hardline actually started during E3, but the alpha for Destiny started after E3 ended. I think it started Friday, right?
Yeah.
And Justin and I both played Destiny. He didn't play Battlefield Hardline, but I've played a little bit of it. I'm not much of a Battlefield veteran, so my opinion on it will kind of be useless in that regard, like comparing it to 4 or anything like that, even though I own Battlefield 4.
But even though I didn't play the beta yet,
Yeah.
I'm going to chime in why I have high hopes for the game in general.
Okay, well that's good. And there's something else I wanted to touch on really quick here, if I can find this thing right here. And basically, what this is. Anybody play Watch Dogs? Anybody?
Yeah, me.
You know this song? It plays on the radio.
Yeah, I don't think I heard it yet, but
You didn't hear it?
I don't think I have yet.
Oh, well. It sounds like a B.O.B. song or something like that. Anyway, it's called Invincible. So, yeah. Let's get to the hook here. I actually like the hook. Lace up, Kel! So, basically, I'm gonna start doing weekly montage, trailer, whatever you want to call them, of games. And I'm going to start with Watch Dogs with this song, actually.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to cut together like kind of like a marketing trailer, I guess you'd call it.
Awesome.
And it's called Invincible. It's by MGK. I don't know. I while I was driving around, this song came on, and I was kind of like pictured like scenes that I had seen in the game kind of cut together to this song, and I was like, I could probably do something with that. So anyway, so yeah, that's
I used to like doing that on YouTube back in the day before they flagged.
I know, yeah, it's true. I'll probably get flagged for it, but whatever. I'll put it up over on one of my other accounts on another site somewhere. I'll go to Vimeo or something. But
it's actually funny you mentioned Watch Dogs because I hadn't played that in a while, and I was playing it earlier today, right? And
yeah.
I forgot to open my entertainment stand door where the PlayStation's at, and I'm playing it, and all of a sudden my PlayStation flashes like a notification. It's like, your PlayStation is too fucking hot. Turn it off
sucks.
now or it'll blow up.
Man.
And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know it did that. I look at the PlayStation 4, it's blinking red at me.
No
it looks
shit,
like fucking
wow.
Knight Rider. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Michael?
whoa. And I was like,
Michael,
I gotta
turn the
this off.
temperature down, Michael.
That's what I felt like.
Shit. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know the thing did that. Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
But
wow.
but that's good to know, because like one of the first nights I had my PS4, I was playing it. I think I was playing Killzone, and I don't know, that game might be a little taxing on the system or whatever, but I was playing it, and all of a sudden I smell something burning. And I was thinking, I was like, no fucking way. So I literally rearranged my console setup in my entertainment center just for the PS4 to have its own shelf, because I was just so scared that thing was going to overheat.
It has to have.
It gets really hot.
ample air.
It does get really hot. Like, if you ever feel behind it, it's super, super hot back there. It's kind of alarming how hot it gets, actually. But
yeah, I mean, I guess that's how much these systems are already pushing.
Yeah, that's the thing. The PS4, getting into this topic a little bit, the PS4 is about as powerful as like a mid-level PC, which is that's pretty astonishing when you look at how small the PS4 is.
Yeah.
Just being honest, it's pretty. I mean, that's pretty powerful. So yeah, it's bound to get hot, and that's why people wonder why the Wii U is so small. Nintendo likes to avoid that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah, it sounded like a jet was going off in my house. Like
that's nuts. Yeah, I have my PC set up to I run a program called MSI Afterburner in the background at all times.
Yeah.
And I have a profile set up for my fan to go like on my graphics card to turn up whenever the temperature gets up. So whenever it gets to 70 degrees Celsius, it just goes 100% blast, and it gets really noisy during some games, but it keeps it cool. I think most people should definitely watch out for the temperature of their equipment, no matter what it is. In fact, earlier tonight, I have an old audio receiver that I put in the living room here, and my roommate, I guess he doesn't think about these things very much, but he set his laptop on top of it, and all of the ventilation was covered. And I came in and the laptop's on, and he's gone to his parents for the weekend. And I looked at it and I was like, oh hell no! It's pulled his laptop off and unplugged it and moved it to the side. But I was like, Jesus, man, I gotta talk to him about this stuff. No, that'll cause a house fire, and that is not good. So
the more you know.
I'm sorry, but you don't have to take my word for it. Da-da-da. That's got to be on there somewhere on the internet by itself. I'm gonna pull that like as a clip, and I'm gonna just use that in future podcasts. You don't have to take my word for it. Da-da-da. It's Reading Rainbow. People that have never seen that show. So anyway, back to Destiny.
Yes.
That was a little roundabout we took there, but so you played Destiny, did you not?
I did, sir, on the PS4, sir. For
your listening pleasure, people, I just got him to admit. Anyway, so what did you think of it? First of all, are you a big fan of Halo?
Yes, I am.
You are, okay. And you're not a big first-person shooter guy, right?
Well, I mean, I enjoy them, but
play them, and you're not Call of Duty guy.
No, I'm not Call of Duty.
Battlefield guy, like typical kill Marines, that kind of shit. That's not that's not your forte, right?
I mean, I enjoy them, but yeah, it's not like I'm like I see it and I'm like I must buy this.
And so Halo, that strikes a chord with you.
Yes, definitely.
That's good. Okay, and being a fan of Halo,
yes.
What did you think when you originally found out that Bungie was not doing Halo anymore?
I was a little bit conflicted because they've just been doing it for so long,
right.
But I'm one of those people that I don't think change is always such a bad thing, and the fact that they finally were free to do what they kind of want to do since they've been doing Halo for so many years, I thought it was pretty good to see what they would come up with next.
I did too. I thought it would be interesting to see their take on something completely different. But I think the funny thing is, we found out about Destiny first from the court case between Infinity Ward or Activision and Infinity Ward, and the whole thing was, I think their documents leaked. Activision's documents leaked, and something revealed that Bungie was working on Destiny, and it kind of blew the surprise for a lot of people because people were like, "Oh my god, it's an MMO! I hate MMOs," and that kind of shit. But what's funny is that once you finally saw Destiny, it wasn't really that much different from Halo to begin with, visually anyway. Like it still looked like Halo to me, and playing it, the guns are a lot like Halo, and the HUD is a lot like Halo, and the planets and stuff like that are a lot like Halo, and the vistas a lot like
Halo.
It's basically like Halo without the Halo name, kind of in a more expansive universe, I guess, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that at all. I honestly think that's great because I was dismayed when they weren't working on Halo anymore because I like Halo and I wanted them to keep making Halo, but I understand their desire to go off and do an independent thing, That's another thing, though. They signed a 10-year deal with another company. They own the IP, which is nice, right? But so it's a little different than Microsoft, but it's kind of not different than Microsoft because they're kind of stuck for a decade making the same series. I mean, it's a trilogy is what they're making. And I could see I don't know. How story driven is this game going to be? Do we know?
I mean, the way I've interpreted it, and from what I've read and what they've said, is basically, I feel like this game is a combination. It's like Halo meets Borderlands meets Mass Effect.
Right. I get the Mass Effect vibe like big time from just playing
big time. And I mean, the only thing different is it's online. You have to play online, but you can still play by yourself. Or you
genius
can play with
move.
People.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the very first concept meeting they had for this game was, how do we stop piracy? And they said, well, it'd have to be an MMO because those don't get pirated because you have to, you know, and then they build around that, the whole online, always online thing. Maybe they call it.
Sucks about.
I was gonna say maybe they had early word from Microsoft back in the day that their next console would be always online, so they started designing a game around that concept. I don't know.
And that's possible, but see, what sucks is it's like no matter how good Destiny is, at some point it's going to be turned off.
That's true too,
and that's a very big disappointment.
That's another reason it needs to come to PC, because then people can run their own servers. You know, speaking back, just if we can take a step aside for a second, it relates to Bungie, but it doesn't relate to Destiny. What I'm about to say, it's Halo CE on PC got taken offline because GameSpy is what it used for online play, and Bungie went out of their way. They don't even have any involvement with Halo anymore, and they didn't even do the PC port of the first game. Gearbox did, but they actually are running servers out of their offices now, so people can play online the original Halo multiplayer maps, which is freaking amazing. I mean, that just speaks to how awesome Bungie is as a company. But yeah, I mean, being on consoles, you're right. It will eventually kind of just go away because it's all online, right? Is there a single player aspect to it at all? I'm not even aware of that.
Other than, I mean, basically you can play it as like a single player type of game, but you're
still online, right?
Yeah, it's almost like think of Diablo on PC. You have to be online.
Yeah, that's a bummer too. They need to fix that. But anyway, yeah, and they've said in the past, like, it's not an impossibility that it won't come to PC, but they haven't announced one yet. You know, it might be like GTA 5. They might wait 17 years after launch and then say, oh, it's coming to PC. But, But that's my main argument for it to come to PC. I mean, I'm not going to miss it because it's not. You know, I'm a big PC guy, but I'll play it on PS4. And the multiplayer, it is cross-gen though, right? And I think people forget that. It's going to be on last-gen consoles too. So you won't, if you have a PS3, you won't necessarily have to pay to play online. So
yeah.
Anyway, but all three other systems you do. So you might as well just be getting PS Plus anyway, 'cause that and it's a great deal. But yeah, so far from what I've played, the shotgun, again, like Halo, I love it. And the HUD, like everything. I like that you can go on vehicles, which is cool. I didn't even realize you could do that until I don't know how long into it. But you know, you just pull up you pull up the thing that they ripped out of the conduit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to accuse them of that, but they did. And then you just hold square, I think, and it calls a vehicle that you can, little bike thing you can ride that they ripped out of Star Wars.
But you know what? I was literally surprised. I know. Well, now I'm telling you.
What?
I was literally surprised how well that thing controls.
Oh, that's fun. It controls kind of like a Warthog.
Yeah, but it's like I would just, I see like a motorbike or a hover bike in games, and I think of stuff, and I'm like, there's no way this is going to control.
You're like, that's not how a hover bike rides. I know how they ride.
I know
from experience.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Star Wars. I grew up with that shit.
It's like shooting womp rats in Beggar's Canyon back home. So, do they have a Beggar's Canyon in Destiny? They probably should put one. They should.
It just is like a joke.
Yeah, or they should put a Reach planet called Reach or something. Just to, maybe that is a Reach. But, yeah, one of the things that I definitely noticed, like I said, playing it was a big Mass Effect vibe. That you go to the the base, I don't know what it's called. You go to the friggin', anyway.
Yeah, like the hometown.
Yeah, and you walk around, and it just reminded me how much of like the Citadel it is. I was like, what? Yeah. What's going on here?
And that it's third person. I had no idea they were going to have any third person parts.
That too, yeah, that was interesting because I thought it was all first person, and then it's cool because it lets you know that what you're walking around in first person view has a model to it. Not just floating hands or something. So
floating camera.
Right, so you can actually, it's like Halo though. Halo also had a model, and you can, in the PC version, there's a mod, you can play the whole thing in third person if you want. It's pretty dumb, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I like the shooting, honestly, and that's the core mechanic of any shooter is how well the shooting comes across, how satisfying it is. I like the feedback from the weapons and stuff like that. I guess the only issue I really had was from the missions that I played, they didn't seem really substantive. They were kind of shallow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's just an alpha, and they're not going to give away anything, you know, for that 3-day period where people are playing it. But
it's just a little taste.
Right, but despite the fact that the I don't know, there was I think the most involved thing I did was either hunt down a wizard or
Ooh, the great wizard.
it was just like a floating thing. It reminded me of Slimer at the beginning of Ghostbusters or something. But yeah, either that or like you have to go on one of the missions was shooting enemies, and each one of them had a crystal, and then you collect all the crystals and, you know, get 100%, and then you're done with the mission. But there wasn't anything really intensive or anything, and it didn't really require co-op, which is, I guess that's kind of nice, because sometimes you won't be able to find people to play co-op with, or you just kind of want to go it alone, and you can still actually progress and make, you know, beat the missions, which is nice.
You know, I mean, not that I've played a lot of alphas, but like I can't lie that like playing stuff that's like on Steam early access that's like, oh, we're an alpha.
I can imagine.
We're an alpha. And you play it and you're like, this is a piece of shit. Like I expected the alpha for Destiny to have some issues, and maybe it does, but I only played it for about an hour, but I was like, this is the nicest alpha.
How polished it is.
Yeah, I have ever played.
It really is incredibly polished. I think it's probably the E3 build, or I think it's actually a couple months old, and they've actually implemented some more tech in it, but yeah, it is really, really solid. Like, there's no real bugs in it that I encountered. There's no glitches hardly. Yeah, the frame rate holds up. Of course, they limit it to 30, which I'm sure the PS4 could do better. But yeah, I mean, whatever. That's fine. It runs at 1080p, which is nice because it's super, super clear looking. And it really helps. There's a Digital Foundry article on the game, on the alpha, but what the image quality does is it holds the art. It helps the art shine through because there's nothing getting in its way, basically, other than FXAA anti-aliasing, which is garbage. Don't use that shit. It's horrible.
The skyboxes in the game. Oh.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. Like, there's the console screenshots thread on NeoGAF, and having an Elgato, of course, I like to take some screens with my games because I can actually get lossless 1080p, and I don't know if it's lossless, but close to. Anyway, so it's better than that PS4 share function, but everybody was posting a shot of themselves out on the ledge at the little village or the little town thing, and like looking out over that little vista right there. It's crazy. It looks really, really nice. It literally looks like concept art right in front of you.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a testament to the game.
It is, and my shot was the best though because I had like depth of field on my character's back of his head. So, and everybody else was just hey, you're gonna take a shot. Like, shut up, just get out of here with that amateur garbage. No, seriously, I'm really mad because somebody figured out how to get rid of the HUD in their shots. Like, I'm guessing they do something and then transitioning from like the menu, the pause menu or something, and going back into gameplay probably gets rid of the HUD like just for like a millisecond. But that's enough, that's enough to get a nice, awesome, clear shot. So I'm mad because people figure that stuff out and they don't share it. And I'm like, how do you do that? Tell me how to get nice HUD-less screens, please.
Well, you didn't share. You didn't.
Jerks.
You didn't share yours.
Jerk faces. Man, it's just crazy though. The art in the game is what I'm talking about. It's crazy. But it's also crazy that I actually enjoyed an MMO, which is not usually something I do. So I'll probably check it out once it's released. I'll probably end up buying it just because.
Is it really an MMO though? Do you think
they call it an MMO? So I will. I mean, it's an MMO. I don't know if it's an MMORPG. It's an MMO experience.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of the whole the picture you take a shot of, and everybody gets in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine's the best. Let me show you.
It probably is.
Let me show you. Go ahead.
Flashing? Is it highly indecent or something, or is it?
No. Just seriously, just click it. You'll see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Hold on a second. Let's check this out.
It's clearly the best one.
Wow,
clearly.
Look at that. That's amazing. Who does remember Azaric? What is Azaric? I'm not even sure what Azaric is.
It's an Xbox game.
Oh, is it?
A launch title.
That's what his tweet said. He linked me to a tweet and it says, "Who remembers Azaric?" and it's
Nobody said
a wonderful
anything.
looking game. I have not even heard of that game. I don't think. Why am I not following you? What's going on here?
Yeah, what is that? What the
Oh,
hell?
that's because I'm not logged in on my browser. That's why. So yeah. Anyway, I am following you. Don't worry. No, I've never heard of Azric. I don't think I might have, but we'll.
Okay,
we should do another podcast just on old games because I got such a backlog here I've got to get rid of.
Now to be honest here, I'll send you the real.
Yeah,
I'll send you the real picture of my guy.
I don't even know where mine is. I have to dig through that console screenshots thread. It'll take days now. That freaking thread is God. How many posts are in that thread now? Let's see. That thread is on page, and I have 100 posts per page, so it's on page 113 now. Good luck. Oh, never mind. There it is. It's right there on it's like the first post in the friggin' thing.
There you go.
Hold on. I'll show you mine. Here, you want to see it? Mine's not really the best. It's just nice. It's just a nice,
Same
nice
here.
locale.
Mine's during the day, actually.
Oh, is it really? I think mine's at night. Here's mine. There you go. But yeah,
I'll click on yours if you click on mine.
I did click on yours. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a really cool looking locale, though. That's the funny thing, though, is there's literally dozens of them in that thread, which is just weird to see everybody have the same.
That was immediately like as soon as I got there, I was like,
shot.
take a picture.
Yeah, I know, and that's a testament to the art. Like there is nothing there. It's just a bitmap that you're staring at, pretty much, right? But
yeah,
it's beautiful. It's a freaking gorgeous design. It looks like a massive freaking city in front of you, which is awesome. And we're at that point now where games can kind of pull off this seamless. Well, not seamless, universe because there's a load screen you have to go through to get there. But you know what I mean. It just looks like a place you'd love to go to and explore. And I wish I could get down there, but I can't.
It gives me high hopes for the next Mass Effect. Actually,
I did try to get down there, and it just killed me. Sigh. But yeah, if you guys are looking forward to Destiny and you didn't get to play the alpha, there will be a beta starting, I believe, in late July. And that will run for a couple weeks at least. I think it's longer than that.
Do you think that's a little bit of a burn to people that have gone out pre-ordered it months ago because they were like, you're getting in the beta, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, there's an alpha and good luck signing up. No,
that's the thing. They gave plenty of time to sign up. I felt. It wasn't plenty of time, but they gave like a day or so,
True.
And everyone that signed up got in, from what I understand. So. It wasn't like a lot of people got left out. As long as you got signed up by midnight or something that day, it was okay. Gotcha. You're in. Come on in. And then I think they were still getting more people in.
But you also have to realize that also applies to the internet savvy people, people that go to GAF every day.
Right.
The ones that stay in touch with the community. People that don't do that so much, but still are maybe pre-ordered for that beta.
Yeah, maybe.
Be like, they're gonna hear about it. What? I have the beta. I'm supposed to get the beta. Where's the beta?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's not. I don't think it's a huge deal just because of how short it is. Honestly, it's just it was enough to sell me on the game. Basically, I only played it on Friday. I played it for probably 3 or 4 hours though. But
okay.
I didn't even plan on playing it that long. I expected to, just try it out, and then I got hooked on it. I just kept running around and trying to kill those stupid hive bastards, and they're almost impossible to kill. God, they keep regenerating health. It made me mad.
See,
but that's another cool. Go ahead.
Oh, I played it on Thursday, and I only played it for about an hour, and that was enough for me. I was like, I like this.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't need to play anymore until the full retail release. But there's also the fact that it's online, so I'm trying to make something for a potluck at work the next day. So never try to actually cook and play an online game at the same time. It's just
I can imagine
horrible.
what that's like.
It was bad.
Did the food come out okay?
Oh, it did, but still, it was like
good.
literally. I wish I don't know. I'm gonna have to check my PlayStation 4. But literally, we get into this little area, and I just start dancing. The emote dance.
Yeah.
And then I go off and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna dance while he can either go off or wait or whatever. I gotta cook this noodles and stuff. So I start cooking it. I can see the TV. Next thing you know, this big battle ooccurs. Nice. He's battling all these dudes, and there I am just in the middle
just
of it.
Dancing.
All like, woo!
Man, they're like,
woo!
thanks a lot. I'm glad I'm teamed up with this jackass. Yeah. The cool thing, honestly, I think about this whole thing is that we are able to talk about it without any repercussions or anything, which is nice because most friggin' alphas or most betas, let alone an alpha, are not public, and they make you sign an NDA, and you have to, They have enough confidence in their game to let people talk about an early version of it. This version we're playing, I believe, is 2 months old. So,
Yeah, and it's amazingly polished.
yeah, it
guys.
really is. So, and I had a lot of fun with it, which is awesome. And that's, I guess, what they were expecting and hoping would be people like us talking it up and selling it for them, because word of mouth is really like the best form of advertising. And so what they're doing is the right way of doing things, guys. Just saying.
It is.
If you have confidence in your product, you won't need an NDA, If you have
Exactly.
the ability to take as many years off as you need to polish every aspect of the alpha, like Bungie does, because they are rich and have.
They could.
I think
it's gonna cost $500 million.
Yeah, I think
whatever.
it is, isn't it? It's like 400 million for like the trilogy, I think. And
Yeah.
Activision's already said this is the most expensive endeavor they've ever taken on. So they have confidence, though, and I guess they'll probably check in weekly, right, on the game.
Probably. I wouldn't put it past.
I wouldn't not check in weekly if I was spending that kind of money, but
Like, are you guys okay over there?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, boss.
right. But they're obviously comfortable letting Bungie have that kind of leeway. So I guess it's working out for them. So that's good. But anyway, I look forward to playing the final game. I don't know if I'll care enough to play the beta whenever it launches, but
Yeah, I probably won't either. I mean,
The,
like I said, I know I want it, and that's really, for me, that's all I really ever want to try these alphas and betas out for is
Right.
like, do what I want to get this, and I'm like, yep, I do, done.
you're like, oh, cool, a Mass Effect spinoff done by Bungie. Thank God. Anyway.
Yeah, thank goodness.
All right, so after that, before that, I think it came out on Monday. Battlefield Hardline actually had a beta that you could play, and I mentioned this to Justin before we started recording, but it's kind of weird to me that Destiny has an alpha, and Battlefield Hardline is in beta stage, and Destiny comes out before Battlefield, release date wise. That's kind of weird to me, but. Anyway, the Battlefield Hardline beta, I played it on PS4, and it's interesting, I guess, I'd say. I'm not a big Battlefield guy. Like, if I had to choose between Call of Duty or Battlefield, that old battle people like to go back and forth with.
And fighting words.
I'm more of a Call of Duty guy online multiplayer-wise because it's faster paced to me anyway, and it's more focused on smaller maps and kind of the old Quake kind of feel where it's running around because it's built on the Quake engine. Call of Duty is, and it's much less team oriented. And that I usually go in for team deathmatch or just free for all matches. That's just what I grew up on, and Battlefield doesn't allow for that. Battlefield's strictly team play. They do have team deathmatch and stuff, but it's strictly, objective based, and the maps are gigantic, and it's awesome. Like I don't dislike Battlefield by any means. I think they're really cool games, and I love the destruction and I love the vehicles and stuff like that. But I just cannot wrap my head around having to play a role on a team instead of just worrying about my own kill death ratio. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So anyway, my roommate is a big Battlefield fan, and he's really good at it. Like he snipes everywhere, and I hate snipers, but he likes the games, so maybe I should sit down with him and have him talk me through it a little bit. But for what I played, I own Battlefield 3, I own Battlefield 4. I haven't played them a whole lot multiplayer, but I know enough just to kind of get by. And Battlefield Hardline is very much in the spirit of those, but it is also very much just an urban setting, basically, and it's just cops and robbers. It's like Battlefield with a cops and robbers skin, I guess. And this beta is only online multiplayer. The main thing, I think, Visceral, who developed Dead Space and Dante's Inferno, I think the main thing they'll actually bring to it, which is a plus, is probably a playable campaign, which the campaigns of Battlefield's 3 campaign was pretty bad. And then Battlefield 4's I didn't even care enough to play through. I just got to like the second mission and I just quit. But for whatever reason, DICE does not do single player extremely well. Even Mirror's Edge, the story in that game is atrocious, I think. So, but the mechanics are good in Mirror's Edge, but the story is not very good, and it's only like 4 hours long. So, single player's never been their strong suit, and I don't know. I'm hoping that changes with Battlefield Hardline. But as far as multiplayer goes, Visceral, I don't know that I don't know how well versed they are in multiplayer. I know they helped with Battlefield 4, so they've had some experience with the series, but it just felt like Battlefield, to be perfectly honest. Now, it's cool you can actually run into, like a building and to an elevator, and you can go up the elevator to the roof, which is crazy. And these buildings are like, they seem like 200 stories high, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the map that I played on, I don't know if there's more than one. I only played it for a little bit, but the map was gigantic. It's freaking crazy. The amount of room you just have to run around in these games. And it's kind of mind blowing, honestly. Like you get, the city that we're looking at in this picture we took in Destiny. It looks like the map is, like a fourth of that entire city. It feels like, And it's just huge. So it almost feels like an open world experience or something at times. But the other problem is I think there were only 32 players available in the beta, and I don't think that was enough to actually fill up the maps very well. So it felt kind of empty a lot of times. I was just running around by myself on parking decks and stuff like that, trying to find people, but they were all on the other side of the map, like, commandeering helicopters and stuff like that. But I don't know, it just felt kind of routine. I don't know, it just feels, like I said, like Battlefield 4 with a cops and robbers and urban skin. So we'll see, though. Like, I'd love if they could put in, heists and stuff like that, which I think they're supposed to, aren't they? I think from the trailer I saw, it's supposed to be. But yeah, it'd give it more of like a Payday kind of feel. But I don't know. It just felt kind of like Battlefield. If you like Battlefield, that's good. But I don't know that it needs to be a yearly franchise, personally. But
true. Well, and see, actually, I'm not big on the Battlefield series myself. I mean, I've played them, but actually, I think the setting of this one being it's more about the cops and the inner turmoil drama within like a city.
I'm more into that setting.
Yeah,
than military.
Well, it's than a military thing, because the military thing's been done to death. To be honest, there's not too many games that feature the whole like cops angle. I mean, like one of the ones I used to play, even though a lot of people didn't like it, but the setting pulled me in was Kane and Lynch. And I just really enjoyed it because it was like these really terrible people and they're doing crimes and they're breaking into buildings and they're and all this good stuff, and it was like this is cool. There's like it's like chase scenes and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for Hardline a little bit more than I've been for a Battlefield game.
That's cool. I don't think this setting particularly lends itself well to destruction, which is basically what Battlefield's known for, because in 4 you can take down skyscrapers and stuff like that, but
yeah,
this setting is, on the Battlefield, there's things, you can set up and kind of little scripted events and stuff that can go off or whatever. In this one, it's a city, so you can't take down every single. I mean, I guess you can take down every single skyscraper, but that's part of the map. That's like half the map. Yeah. So I don't know. Honestly, I didn't play it that much, but the setting I do find more interesting, like you just said. Yeah, I don't know. The shooting has always been kind of hit or miss with me, literally and figuratively. It's just kind of, the sound design in these games is spectacular. The weapons and then the echoing and stuff like that. You can hear the reverb rather from the weapons and the surroundings and stuff is almost like second to none in gaming. DICE does audio really, really well. I love just putting headphones on, and even Mirror's Edge has really good sound. But this game, yeah, I don't know. Like I just get more of the same kind of vibe from it, and it comes off kind of like I don't know. I used to play a lot of Counter-Strike back in the day, and it was kind of like playing that again, I guess, sort of. It was interesting, but I think there's like a bomb and defuse kind of mode I think there's actually one of those modes in Battlefield, like in general, but. This kind of lends itself to that kind of gameplay with vehicles, I guess, which is kind of cool, which I'm not used to, honestly. And I don't think a lot of console gamers are used to that kind of stuff either. But yeah, I don't know. Like, we'll see how it does. I hope that the single-player campaign's worth playing through, because Visceral's good at that, They're really good at the storytelling aspect. And, I hope it isn't like QTE ridden, and because looking at the trailer that they released for the single player, when they showed the single player, it reminded me a lot of Need for Speed: The Run. and I don't think that's a good thing. But we'll see. I just and they mentioned specifically in that trailer that they bring their expertise from the Dead Space series into the single player arena and Battlefield and all this stuff. So, but one of the other things I wanted to talk about was, what do you think of Visceral not making Dead Space anymore and just being kind of relegated to a Battlefield studio? Because this is what Activision has done with all of their studios. I think who was it recently? Was it Neversoft that got shut down, or I can't remember. But Neversoft used to make Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero. I can't remember if they had layoffs or if they got shut down or something. They just shut down. What studio was that Activision recently shut down? We just talked about them. We just talked about it like a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember.
Neversoft. What do they do? But now they have Sledgehammer, which I think they created just to do Call of Duty to help out with Modern Warfare 3 initially, and now they're doing Advanced Warfare. And they had Raven, and Raven is now doing DLC for Call of Duty and stuff like that. And basically they've rolled all of their studios that previously did other things into the Call of Duty line, basically. Now it just seems like EA's doing the same thing with their own studios. I don't know. I guess it should be said, though, that Visceral started off as EA Redwood Shores, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
It was already EA. Like, it was initially, always EA. It wasn't an independent developer that got bought up by EA and then turned into this kind of, routine, I don't know, dumbed down, I guess I'd say, kind of developer. But anyway, it's no less painful, I don't think, because they were doing original IPs and now they're just, it just seems like they're going to be.
You know who it reminds me of?
No.
Monolith.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
They had Fear and they had Condemned, and now it's like, hey, you're gonna do Batman online game, and hey, you're gonna do a MOBA. And now finally they're doing like a full game.
Yeah, that's right, because they're doing the
Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, whatever that's called.
It's still licensed, but at least it's more ambitious.
Yeah, and it looks like a Assassin's Creed clone, right? So
yeah.
I think, but yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a shame, honestly, to see. And the main thing is that the talent at these places leaves whenever they get relegated to making yearly updates to a franchise, basically, because who wants to make the same game over and over and over, other than Nintendo? But, Nintendo, even then, they find new things to do with their existing franchises, So they change it up every now and then. These, Call of Duty, they don't really change it up because they're afraid that if they do, it'll be received negatively and they'll lose sales, right? Because I can't count how many interviews I've seen with Call of Duty developers, and they'll say literally you can't change a lot because it's a fickle audience. They're afraid of change, and it just stagnates creativity basically.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Like it's kind of weird because we're talking about tonight Bungie and Visceral, and Bungie literally went the opposite direction of Visceral. They did the yearly franchise thing. Not yearly, but you know what I mean. They did the franchise thing, and they just put out a bunch of different games in the same franchise for years, and then they buy their own independence, and then they go and they sign another exclusivity deal to do a new franchise which they created. Let's give them that, but they're stuck. I don't want to say stuck, I guess, but they can't make anything else for 10 years. That's a long time. And if the first one doesn't take off like they hope it does, and Activision is expecting, God, what they want this to be the highest selling game of all time. I think Bobby Kotick said that. So, they're not shy about saying, look, we have a lot of expectations here, and if it doesn't deliver, I mean, look, this is a case where they could sell 15 million copies and it could be considered a failure. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Definitely.
That's crazy to say that, but it's true. Like, that's a lot of copies of anything. I mean, you got to stop and think for a second. The highest selling album of all time is Thriller, and that released in 1982, and I think it has 100 million sold or something. I mean, seriously, it took like 30 years to hit. I don't know how many million sold, but still, that games don't have that luxury. They can't be out for 30 years before they hit that kind of number. They're expecting these kinds of numbers within a year, at least, and probably within the first 3 months. And it's just crazy to think that the expectations placed on these things is
Ridiculous.
through the roof. Yeah. Now, I don't know how EA is expecting Battlefield Hardline to do, because I'm not sure how Battlefield 4 did. But obviously, they want a competitor to Call of Duty, which sells 20 million yearly. And I guess this is what they're hoping will be the answer, because they tried Medal of Honor, and man, that failed. that fell flat on its face. So, I don't know.
Right, like it fell flat, like really flat. Like,
really bad. Yeah. The funny thing though is Visceral went from creating an interesting game, I guess you'd say, in Dead Space, to kind of making it formulaic. It became a shooter. I mean, it originally started out, it had shooting aspects, but it was kind of like it wasn't a free roam game, but it had the open ship and you could kind of like explore each level and stuff. And then it got more and more linear and scripted. And I think I mentioned before on the podcast, one of the guys goes by Code Cow on NeoGAF. I think he's the creative director or something for the Dead Space games. Anyway, I said jokingly in one of the threads, this is like a couple months ago, I said, it's funny that Dead Space 2 was referred to as Uncharted in space, and now Amy Hennig, the writer of the Uncharted series, is working at Visceral on a Star Wars game. And I just jokingly said that it's funny that Dead Space 2 is called Uncharted in space. And then Code Cow came in and he quoted me and he said, it's no secret that Uncharted 2 came out the same year that we started working on Dead Space 2. He said, we took a lot of influence from Uncharted. And I was like, wow, okay. So it really isn't a joke that it was called Uncharted in space. But they went from, the open kind of thing with the silent main protagonist and stuff like that to what Dead Space 3 was. And now they're just working on Battlefield. And it's just kind of, they've kind of just gotten more and more kind of generic as they've gone on.
Well, I mean, they went from Dead Space to Dante's Inferno, back to Dead Space, and then they went to Army of Two, the third one, and now they're going to Battlefield. And anybody that's been following them since they started with Dead Space is probably looking at this going, you guys are going completely the opposite direction of what we had expected you to do.
I know. Well, the funny thing though is I don't know, funny, like the sad thing is, EA in 2008, like they said they released those two IP. They released Dead Space and Mirror's Edge, and one of them's dead and the other one is coming back, I'm surprised they're even bothering, but I'm glad they are, but I'm still worried about Mirror's Edge too, because some of the stuff I've read about it, words like more accessible, stuff like that kind of get thrown around, and I'm kind of raising my eyebrow going, I don't know if I want that, because that's not always a good thing, especially with EA. But we'll see.
Prototype.
God. Yeah, and it's been a whole year and they still just have prototype footage to show, but I don't think they're even working on Mirror's Edge like fully until they're done with whatever that other game is that they're making, that little thing, that little Battlefield game for space people. But yeah, they're clearly kind of, I don't know, just becoming more formulaic as things go on. I'm talking about Visceral, and it's just, I guess it's been kind of disappointing, because I liked Dead Space 3. I didn't like it as much as 2, but I thought 2 was Game of the Year material, honestly, in 2011. But Dead Space 1, I thought it was flawed, but it was a lot of fun. I played through it I don't know how many times, but Dante's Inferno was kind of funny, because that was one of those things where, Dante's Inferno, the license is public domain, so they could just, do whatever they want with it. They don't have to pay any rights. And they had that, and then they had, the Alice games, Alice Madness Returns, and that game is also, public domain, the license. So it was just kind of funny, because they went through a stage there with a couple of games. They were clearly just like trying to fish for ideas of things they didn't have to actually pay rights for, And,
wait, Alice is by Dead Space, guys.
No, it's not. But I'm saying EA in general. EA.
You're saying, okay.
Yeah, EA had like this little era, era where they were kind of experimenting with like public domain licenses, and they were trying to find something that they could make money off of without having to pay like royalties to. Is what I'm saying. I'm surprised they didn't have a Wizard of Oz game too, but
Next year
that would actually be pretty cool. I'd love an American McGee Wizard of Oz game. That'd be kind of cool, I think. But anyway, yeah, it's just I don't know, man. The Battlefield, it's not my cup of tea, to be perfectly honest. And then I don't know, maybe they'll make it. You know, I was kind of hoping, honestly, for like a Bad Company return. That would be great if they were just making a new Bad Company game, but nope. And I know a lot of people too that wish Bad Company would come back, because that was more of like a smaller scale kind of, you know.
Yeah, it was smaller scale, but it was like had that humor.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun to me anyway, just because it was easier to get into, easier to enjoy. Which, by the way, speaking of relating to things easier, I've been playing Watch Dogs like pretty steadily recently, because I still haven't finished the story, but I'm at the end. And I've done most of the side missions, so I put a lot of hours into it. I can't help but think I would love to have played as Jordy instead of Aiden. That's just how I feel. I don't know. He's just like a much more likable character to me, just to how nonchalant he is about everything, and you know what I mean? He's just pop guys in the knee and doesn't give a shit, and killed these two guys like they were arguing. He's like, I don't want to hear it. Bow pow right in the face.
See, I'm not one that's normally really picky on stuff like, oh, you know, like for example, Uncharted, he kills a bunch of people, he's a man killer, you know. Like I get like why you kill a bunch of dudes in the game, blah blah blah.
Oh man.
But I can't help but because I was playing Watch Dogs today and I just got to Act 2.
Yeah.
I can't help but notice the jarring thing where it's like it was before one of the missions and he's like he's talking to Jordy and he's like, oh god, yeah, I can't have them, you know, deal with family. He's like, yeah, family leads to problems and blah blah blah. And then next thing you know, you're threatening some guy's family. And I was like,
Yep.
What?
Now, let me show you. Have you seen the Zero Punctuation review of it? Tell me you've seen that. Okay.
No.
For those of you out there, Yahtzee's one of Yahtzee's game critics. Sorry. Listen to this. This is perfect. It's kind of long, but listen. He mentions what you're talking about.
The hype train for Watch Dogs had all the grace and subtlety of a 19th century steam locomotive dangerously overloaded with jizz cannons and jizz cannon maintenance equipment, which, as we've often learned, can be the warning sign that the publishers don't have a lot of faith in the game being able to stand upon its own merits. Well, it certainly can't stand upon its understanding of how hacking works, I can tell you that straight away. Basically, if your hackers are mostly hip young DJs and tattoo artists who all crib their sense of style from the halfway point between My Little Pony and Pinhead from Hellraiser, and have been so obviously workshopped to oblivion that they might as well be snapping their fingers and referring to authority figures as Daddy-O, then you're already showing your ignorance, because most hackers are fat, greasy shit minglers with terrible beards posting Google Street View images of the houses of people who think we should have to pay money to watch TV shows. What will certainly not help is having your hackers put on very serious faces and wave their handheld devices about the way Marvo the Master Wizard works his magic wand. Fortunately, the protagonist of Watch_Dogs is not one of the heavily workshopped Johnny Lee Miller rejects, but Aiden Pierce, a character who appears to have had all personality sandblasted off, till he's a blank cipher who doesn't even know how to button a trench coat properly. He was a hacker who did any work for hire and stole money from bank accounts, but then accidentally targeted someone powerful who killed his 6-year-old niece, which gave him a little Spider-Man moment, and he declared that from this day forth he would use his powers to continue working for hire and stealing money from bank accounts, but also fight crime in between, if he can be asked. Not stealing money crime, or property damage crime, or murdering policeman crime, just, you know, all the bad crimes, the ones committed by people other than himself. Oh, but no one can understand Aiden's pain, other than, you know, the kid's mother, his sister, who seems to be infinitely better adjusted about the whole thing. But then she also hasn't figured out that Aiden is the mystery vigilante even after the news media starts broadcasting his name, so she's probably a few dead kids shy of an origin story.
Okay, so
that's rough.
Yeah, it's hilarious though, because he nails it. Yeah, but that's what you were just talking about.
That guy talks so fast.
I know, like in the game, they literally talk about, you know, committing crimes and blah blah blah, how bad it is, and then he hunts down these people, being a vigilante, and then he, in the process of hunting down these people, steals cars and shoots guys and shoots cops and blah blah blah, and you know, it's like he's doing, and steals money from the ATM, and yeah, it's just funny that you can do completely hypocritical shit in the game, and that's all the game's built around. It's still fun, I think, but yeah, it does
Oh, yeah,
really.
but it's just
ludonarrative
jarring. I mean,
dissonance, I think, is what it's called, right? It's
yeah.
big time in this game.
It was just so jarring to me. I mean, right before that, right before he's just like, oh yeah, they can target your family, and he's like, I know, and it gets personal, blah blah blah, and I felt bad for him, like yeah, right. And then next thing you know, he's like, hey, you got 2 kids?
It's a good point he brings up too, where he says, oh man, nobody would be able to get over the fact that he lost his niece, except the kid's mom, who must feel worse about it, but she seems a lot more well adjusted.
She's like,
she's not
get your shit together and stop it.
Right. She's telling him not to go after people.
Now,
he's like, just let it die, and he's like, I can't.
I don't want you to spoil it, but I just got to Act 2, and I feel like I just hit a turning point with the story, maybe a little bit, because something happened, and now I don't know if you remember what happens at that point.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, fine then. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! If you don't want to listen, fuck off. It's the part where you that guy that's trying to get you to remember what happened in the past. He basically kidnaps your sister.
Yeah. You're talking about Damian Branks.
Yeah.
He kidnaps your sister, and I still haven't gotten her back, and I'm in Act 3, so just to let you know.
Oh well, damn.
Yeah. So she stays gone for a while.
Well, Act 2's long. I saw it was like 16.
Her shithead kid that doesn't talk, runs away and does something on it. You have to find these guys,
are going after him.
Yeah, they're going after him, and then you have to kill all the guys and keep him safe. And somehow he doesn't understand that he was in danger or why he was in danger or something. I don't know. It's dumb. The story's not very good. I think I made that comment the first time we were talking about the game. The story is kind of garbage, honestly, and I still feel like Aiden won't be back in the second game. I don't know if he dies or anything, but I know somebody dies. But anyway, so I did want to actually mention something from one of our sponsors tonight. It's not a pre-recorded thing. They want me to do it live tonight, which is kind of different. Yeah, so it's kind of different. Just today's Father's Day, and it's just something I wanted to mention. You can always rely on good old, reliable, honest, straightforward DAD. That's something you should remember out there, folks. If you're ever looking for an opinion on something, you can come to DAD. Just always remember. Don Allen Does, my online review show. That's right. I'm one of the most straightforward, reliable, honest people you'll ever meet, as far as critics go. So, hit up donallendoes.com, and remember, on Dad's Day, DAD is your friend. So thank you. I appreciate you letting me go through that. So, yeah, I feel better.
I could have interrupted the shit out of you.
You should have. Oh, but you didn't. You were a good sport. You didn't know where I was going with that. Stop it.
I didn't.
So anyway,
I was sitting there on the edge of my seat like the audience.
and then it just died. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're heading down a road we can't go back from. So
on the road again.
No, you're making me want to play Guitar Hero 3. I think it was, or 4.
Yeah.
One of them had that song in it, didn't it? It had
I
Willie
believe
Nelson
so.
somewhere in there, and I was like, he doesn't belong in this. What are you doing? You can't have Twisted Sister and Willie Nelson in the same game.
Rammstein.
That's
and then,
stupid.
What?
Man, that was the easiest song ever. Man, did they ever do anything after that? I don't know.
I saw a picture recently
did.
of a Rammstein concert, and they basically had a big penis cannon.
That doesn't
shooting
sound
out
like
stuff.
them. That doesn't sound like them.
Yeah, a crazy German hard rock band. No, not at all.
They were probably playing Bad Biology on the screen behind them too. Crazy ass movie.
That would be appropriate.
I've let people listen to our talk about that movie. It still cracks me up. Jesus. So anyway, yeah, you should go back and listen to some of our old stuff. It's funny.
I know, I need to.
You need to listen, because then you should listen to, I don't know if you've listened to any of the ones we've done lately, but the quality is so much better. It's really insane. I still haven't heard back from iTunes, which pisses me off. I don't know how to get in touch with them about, my submission, because I tried to submit again, and it's like, you've already submitted this RSS. I'm like, fuck you. You didn't get back to me, dicks. All right. So anyway, hopefully I'll get that fixed and I'll shoot him a message. Also, let's see. We're gonna start wrapping it up here, but
Of course.
I'll let the song play out. But
Hey, you know what I found for $2
What's that?
on DVD?
no.
National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1.
Loaded Weapon 1. Wow.
Yeah.
Was there ever a 2?
No.
I don't think so.
But Samuel Jackson's in it. And Emilio
Man.
Estevez.
Oh, it's gonna stop playing for a second while it
That's
catches
okay.
up. Anyway, speaking of learned things, I don't think we actually learned anything tonight, did we? We learned that Bungie's probably pretty well off. Don't know about Visceral. Don't know so much
Yeah.
about Visceral. But we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. I'm interested in Battlefield Hardline much more so than 4, and I've owned 4 since November, and I think I've played it like a handful of times, which is sad.
I had glitches and I just got so irked I never
Yeah,
finished.
that was the thing too. This game better launch in a playable state, or otherwise the Battlefield name's going to be completely tarnished, like pretty much ruined. And then I learned I'm interested in buying Destiny, which I wasn't before. So Alpha did its job. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah. Woo.
That's the way you do it, though. You got to let your game speak for itself, you know. And I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, and letting us talk about an alpha is like refreshing, honestly. But anyway, I was gonna say something. I can't remember what I was gonna say now. So screw it. Whatever. F it and A. Screw it. No. I wanted to say. Yeah, I forgot again. Damn.
Well, I learned that you can do improv on the fly with your little skits, and that's kind of nice.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you can have confidence in my abilities now. Thanks.
Well, at least one person believes in DAD.
Well, that's good. That's not me as a DAD, just
Yeah.
DAD.
I'm the DAD.
I
you're
do
the
need to.
DD.
I do need to get that thing going though. Like I need to get some more content up on my channel, and on a regular basis. I get so lazy, it sucks. I really hate because I don't have any incentive to do it. Nobody watches it and all that shit. You just gotta kind of just do it for fun.
Gotta do it for fun. Yeah, that's what I do.
That's all, dude. Anyway, thanks for listening tonight. You can catch me on Twitter at It's Don Allen. You can catch Justin on Twitter at @SlasherJPC. Right.
Yeah, and you should check out my YouTube because I have a new weekly show called Hard On Gaming. Yes, you heard that right. Hard On Gaming.
I don't get it. So
You should
check out his YouTube channel, youtube.com/SlasherJPC. And then mine is /FUpTV, but I actually have Don Allen Does as a YouTube channel. I've had that for a couple of years. I just never put anything on it. But because, I have subscribers on my FUpTV channel, and I'm like, why would I start over? But I think most of because I had a 2-year hiatus, nobody really goes to that channel anymore, so I should probably
Except
start
for
over.
me.
Well, I should start over is my point. But we'll see. I don't know if I will. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had tonight, guys. Thanks for listening, and
thanks
we
as
hope you
always.
enjoyed it. And I did want to mention something else, but I can't freaking remember anymore now. So
Oh, and I'll leave with one other note. If you have any inclination to want to try out Enemy Front, please do not. I repeat, do not play Enemy Front.
Enemy Front.
Yeah, it's a pile.
Okay, we'll talk about that and some more later, probably next week. But thanks for listening tonight, everybody. I appreciate it, and take care of yourselves and each other.
Deb, that's all, folks.